Everybody, good to see you all today. We do have a couple quick announcements. One thing I'm going to share is that I am just getting over being sick. I was actually not supposed to be here today, and then Steve Miller was last minute filling in for me, and about 9:30 he got a text saying, "I'm feeling a little better. I tested negative for flu and COVID, so I'm coming." So please do not feel offended if I don't hug you or shake your hand today, because I'm not doing that today. I'm also going to do my best not to mingle with people today. I was just doing that because I had to find my kids. Yeah, so I'm feeling a bit better today, but I still just want to be cautious. It's, I know people are traveling, all those kinds of things this time of year, so I'm going to try my best to stay away from people today. If you have a half sheet, you can flip it over. We've got a few things to go over. One thing I want to remind us is it's Testimony Sunday today. The email went out Friday, announced it, I think, last week. We're going to be sharing testimonies today as a church. So I hope that maybe you've prepared some thoughts, and if you haven't prepared some thoughts, maybe you can just wing it today, because it's important for us to remember what God has done. So we have that today. We also have Lisi and Hannah Holcomb. They're going to be sharing about a missions opportunity that they both have coming up. So they're going to be sharing with us shortly here after these first couple songs we're going to sing. Other than that, we do have, I think we have both of our ladies' studies still on break, right, Rachel and Linda? Okay, so both ladies' Bible studies are on break. This Thursday, our men's group is also off. So this is our last Thursday. We're on break. It's going to be New Year's Day, so we're going to be taking another break this week. But we'll be resuming after that, which is what? The 8th, we should be back, okay? Let's see. Monthly Clothing Closet is coming up this Friday, January 2nd. Spread the word. I think there might be some flyers down there. We'll probably have a Facebook post going out. Grace Life Groups, you can see our leaders up on the page there. So elephant in the room, the cooks were leading a group at one point, and through prayer and consideration are no longer leading a group. So just season of life stuff when we planned them leading a group, and then things changed for them personally with Donald's new job and all that entails with the newness of this season for them. So we just felt it was wise to say, hey, let's just pull that back for now. Maybe we'll revisit it in the future. So we do have 3 groups right now. You can see any of the group leaders for questions if you want to get involved in one. Let's see. All right, I think this is the last thing that we have. 2 last things. This is the last Sunday we're going to be collecting for Christmas for missions. So last Sunday for that, the small boxes in the back if you want to give towards that. And we just send that out to all of our missionaries. And then the last thing is Sunday, January 4th at 5:30 p.m. The ladies are going to be meeting here at Grace for their Created and Connected night. So this is an opportunity for the adult ladies to be able to come together for a time of fun and fellowship. Please plan to come and bring a craft to do or a game, and also a soup to share. No sign up is needed. If you are in need of childcare or have any questions, you can see Sarah or Melissa. Okay, I think that's all we have for announcements today, so you go ahead and stand, and we're going to sing together.
Good morning, everybody. It is good to see you here. We are also getting over colds, so sing loud, sing proud, and don't mind us if we cough. But let's start with singing the goodness of God.
Love you, Lord. I love you, Lord. Oh, your mercy never fails me. All my days I've been your voice. I love your voice. You have led me through the fire. In darkest nights, you are close like no other. I've known you as a father, and I've known you as a friend, and I have lived in the goodness of God all my life.
Be seated, and we're going to have Hannah and Lisi Holcomb come up, and they're going to share with us the missions opportunities they have. They're both students at Word of Life right now, and Lisi is also getting over being sick, correct? So, all right, thanks, you guys. Just turn that.
There we go. All right, give me 1 minute. So I'd first like to apologize. I have had the worst sinus infection I've ever had in my life. On that note, I apologize if I sound super sick and if I cough mid-sentence. All right, good morning. I am Annalise Holcomb. Most of you may know me as Lisi, and I attend to the Word of Life Bible Institute as a first year. We, as first years, learn that the basic principles of the Bible and ministry and how to, well, do that. We have the privilege of going to New York City in the spring and gain experience by sharing the gospel through open-air evangelism, which is basically sharing the gospel. We will be spending 2 full days going throughout the city and sharing the gospel with strangers, both locals and tourists. A requirement for this trip is that we raise support from friends and family. I am required to raise $1,300 and have to raise half of that, $650, by January 12th. I'm currently at 4% of my goal and would appreciate your support through prayer if you feel led to give financially. These funds will cover for my travel fees and accommodations and meals. Thank you for your time. God bless.
All right. Good morning. Okay. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Hannah Holcomb, and I, like Lisi, attend the Word of Life Bible Institute in Pottersville, New York. I am currently in my second and final year, and where first year is all about building a foundation, second year is focused on building upon that foundation and is more ministry and missions focused. So a unique opportunity I have this year is going on a missions trip to Mexico. Last year I went on the same trip as Lisi, and where we had to walk up to complete strangers and just share the gospel. Now I'm getting the opportunity to do that in a different country. In addition to open-air evangelism, our trip will also include ministry at local churches and youth groups, evangelistic events at schools, and potentially sports ministry and visiting an orphanage. The trip is 11 days, and we leave on April 9th. One thing we are required to do to go on this trip is raise support. I'm required to raise $2,600 by December 31st. These funds will cover travel fees, accommodations, and meals. I have raised 20% of my goal so far and would appreciate prayers that I would reach my 50% deadline and 100% deadline on time. If you would like to give to either of our trips, we have giving pages through Word of Life, and we can share the link with that, or you can give us a check and make it out to Word of Life. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to answer them, and thank you for your time.
So let's take a minute and pray over these two. It's a privilege as a grandfather to get to pray over 2 granddaughters. Father, as we have come together this morning, we thank you for the presence of the Lord Jesus Christ, and we know that we all live for you, that our lives count for you. So we are especially grateful for these two who have dedicated themselves in their learning to your mission, to train for your mission, for frontline ministry. And so I pray as they raise support that you would demonstrate yourself kind toward them in providing for them, and also in giving them peace of heart and mind. I pray for their trips, that they would be safe productive, but most of all, that they would glorify our King. And we pray these things in his name. Amen.
Thank you. Good morning. If you would please stand for the reading of the word. Today we'll be reading we'll be reading all of Psalm 66 in ESV. Shout for joy to God, all the earth. Sing the glory of his name. Give to him glorious praise. Say to God, how awesome are your deeds. So great is your power that your enemies come cringing to you. All the earth worships you and sings praises to you. They sing praises to your name. Come and see what God has done. He is awesome in his deeds toward the children of man. He turned the sea into dry land. They passed through the river on foot. There did we rejoice in him, who rules in his might forever, whose eyes keep watch on the nations. Let not the rebellious exalt themselves. Bless our God, O peoples. Let the sound of his praise be heard, who has kept our soul among the living and has not let our feet slip. For you, O God, have tested us. You have tried us as silver is tried. You brought us into the net. You laid a crushing burden on our backs. You let man ride over our heads. We went through fire and through water, yet you have brought us out to a place of abundance. I will come into your house with burnt offerings. I will perform my vows to you, that which my lips uttered, and my mouth promised when I was in trouble. I will offer to you burnt offerings of fattened animals with the smoke of the sacrifice of rams. I will make an offering of bulls and goats. Come and hear, all you who fear God, and I will tell what he has done for my soul. I cried to him with my mouth, and high praise was on my tongue. If I had cherished iniquity in my heart, the Lord would not have listened. But truly God has listened. He has attended to the voice of my prayer. Blessed be God, because he has not rejected my prayer or removed his steadfast love from me. That is the reading of the word. May you take a moment to greet one another, and children, you are dismissed.
A Bible. We're going to be in Deuteronomy chapter 8 today. Deuteronomy chapter 8. Today's message is on the briefer side, but you know that is also famous last words coming from me when I say it's going to be short or brief. You never really know if that's true or not, so we'll see. But Deuteronomy chapter 8, and we're going to look at the whole chapter today. If you have a Bible, turn there. So as we close out the year, 2025 in the books, kind of crazy. But I was thinking about 2024. At the beginning of 2024, Janelle got one of those big mason jars, and she put it together and wrote a marker on the top, 2024 God sightings. So it was just a way for us to try to be more intentional, to remember what God has done throughout the year. So at the end, when something happens, or God answers a prayer, or you experience His faithfulness, or like you just write on a paper, you fold it up, and then you put it in there. And at the end of the year, you go back and you look through and say, look at all that God has done. And it's a really beautiful thing to do. And but guess what we forgot to do? Put slips into the jar. So it just sat there. Not that we had none in there. We had some. But you know how it is. You put something out, like, we're going to do this year, and then the first month, maybe you get a couple, then it just slowly fizzles out. But I just want to be clear. It wasn't because there wasn't things for us to celebrate. It wasn't because there wasn't things that God showed up in. It wasn't because God wasn't faithful. It was because we were forgetful. Anyone with me here? I don't think I'm alone in this. Anyone forgetful with me? And here's the beautiful thing is God knows this about us, that we are forgetful people. I mean, we're looking at the Old Testament today with the Israelites, and we know that God redeems them. He brings them out of Egypt, and oh, how quickly they forgot God. Oh, you just brought us out here to die. Oh, we just want to go back. I mean, and we can laugh and point the finger, but we are the same exact way. We are so forgetful. And so today, as we close out 2025, this is a Sunday for us as a church body, not for me to just stand up here and say, hey, we just need to remember what God has done, but open up the floor to say, hey, let's share what God has done. I mean, shame on us if this isn't no shade, but if we have nothing to say, shame on us. I mean, that's because we're not recalling what God has done. We're not thinking through what God has done. We're not taking any time to recall what God has done. He's done so much. And so we should all at least have the ability to say one thing that God has done this year. So today, we're going to be looking at Deuteronomy chapter 8. And it kind of goes in the same vein of remembering God. So a little bit about the book of Deuteronomy is this. It's a series of sermons by Moses. And all throughout the book, it's just pretty much him imploring the Israelites, just please don't forget God. Trust God, obey God, walk in His ways. Don't forget who He is. Don't forget what He's done. Don't forget what He's brought us through. And the reason that this is such a special or unique book is because this is the end of the 40 years. Deuteronomy is written at the end of the 40 years. What were they just doing for 40 years again? Wandering around in the wilderness. So they've been wandering. That time is coming to a close. They're about to enter the promised land. And Moses, I have a Deuteronomy 4:1. Moses wants them to prosper in the land. And if you're in chapter 4, you can go to even verse 9. We see this. Like Moses is imploring that he knows he's not going into the promised land, but he's imploring the people, be faithful to God. I want you to prosper when you're there. I want you to remember the Lord and all that He's done. And one of the main ways that they could seek to be obedient to Him was through remembering. And this is what He's imploring the people in verses 1 through 10. So if you have your Bibles open, chapter 8, and I'm just going to read verses 1 through 10 for us. The whole commandment that I commanded you today, you should be careful to do, that you may live and multiply, and go in and possess the land that the Lord swore to give to your fathers. And you shall remember the whole way that the Lord your God has led you these 40 years in the wilderness. Here's the reason why. That He might humble you, testing you to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. And he humbled you and let you hunger and fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, that he might make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but man lives by every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Your clothing did not wear out on you, and your foot did not swell these 40 years. Know then in your heart that as a man disciplines his son, the Lord your God disciplines you. So you shall keep the commandments of the Lord your God by walking in his ways and by fearing him. For the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land, a land of brooks of water, of fountains and springs, flowing out in the valleys and hills, a land of wheat and barley, of vines and fig trees and pomegranates, a land of olive trees and honey, a land in which you will eat bread without scarcity, in which you will lack nothing, a land whose stones are iron, and out of whose hills you can dig copper. And you shall eat and be full, and you shall bless the Lord your God for the good land he has given you. So I recognize that maybe for today, the idea of sharing testimony is hard, and it could be for a couple different reasons. Number one, it could be, well, I just don't like talking in front of people, right? So I won't make you raise your hands. But I know that makes up a lot of the people here in the room. But number two, maybe sharing testimony is hard today because for some you're thinking, well, I don't feel like I have anything good to share about. It's been a year marked by hardship and pain. And I was just thinking this past week that hardship can trick us. It can trick us into believing a lie. And the lie is this: my hardship means that God has abandoned me to despair and darkness, and there's no meaning behind it, and there's no hope in front of it. Meaning, I'm just going through all of this hard thing. God has brought me on this road. I don't know why, but he's just left me there. And that's all that it means. But that's a lie, of course, because God will bring us all different places to show us things, to teach us things. And I say that because consider the context of what we're looking at here. They've just been wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. Is that good or bad? Not a trick question. Bad. Thank you. I was like, come on, people, here. This is an extremely difficult situation. But I'll ask this: was it meaningless, though? Based on the text we just read, was it meaningless? Of course not. God was still working for the good. So maybe sometimes we get brought into the quote-unquote wilderness where we're questioning God, where we're doubting God, where we're wondering, how did I get here? Why am I here? Well, let's just read what Moses is explaining to the people of why they were in the wilderness. Verse 2, they were led through the wilderness, quote, that he might humble you, testing you to know what was in your heart. Not testing you to know whether God was good or not. God is always good. He's always loved us. He's always been for us, not against us. But he brings us in the wilderness to say, hey, let me just show you for a second what's in your heart. And that's humbling. But that's how much he loves us. He says to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. Verse 3, and he humbled you and let you hunger and fed you with manna, that he might make you know that man does not live by bread alone, but man lives by every word that comes from the mouth of the Lord. Verse 5, as a man disciplines his son, the Lord your God disciplines you. Have you ever known a parent that disciplines their children in a healthy fashion that does not love their children? No, you discipline your children in a healthy way because you love your children. And notice this is true of God. Notice that every bit of the hardship we see here was both intentional or purposeful and was working for a greater good in them, for them. It was working in them dependence upon God. Now, I don't know if you can resonate with this or not, but in my maybe to you this seems old, maybe to others like, wait, you're only that old? In my 34 years of life, the hardest times of my life were also, on the flip side of that coin, the most fruitful for me spiritually. Can anyone resonate with that? The hardest times, if you pressed into them well, meaning you press into the Lord and say, Lord, I don't know why I'm here. I don't know how I got here. I don't know what is happening right now, but I trust you, and I'm just going to walk this out with you and trust that you are going to walk with me. They've been the most fruitful for me spiritually. Now, this is because my comforts were stripped away, relationships hurt, or maybe I felt alone, but you know who met me there? God. He was always there. And he uses these things to produce in us perseverance and dependence. So I just want to recognize as we go into a testimony Sunday that maybe 2025 for some in this room was the wilderness. It was the wilderness. But even still, as we see in this passage, we always have something to give God glory for. I want to quote our sister Debbie Lopez, her favorite verse, her life verse, James 1, 2 through 4. James, the brother of Jesus, says, "Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds." Who's experienced trials this year? You don't have to raise your hands. We all could raise our hands. Trials. Living through this life, we will experience trial and trouble. But James says, whenever you face them, consider it pure joy, because you know that the testing of your faith, which is just exactly what we read was happening with the Israelites, you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. So we don't ask for trials, we don't ask for troubles, we don't ask for hardships, but when they come, because they always do come, they are opportunities for us to grow, to mature. So we face them with the Lord, we face them in healthy ways with the people of God and in the Lord and in his faithfulness, walking by faith, not by sight. And what happens? We start to grow in perseverance. And when we let perseverance finish its work in us, what happens? We grow to maturity in Christ. Oftentimes, I know we don't like to think of it this way because we love happiness in our culture, but it is our trials that are leading us to blessing. Look at verse 7 of the text. Moses saying, God did all of this for this reason. But what's the end goal, though? Verse 7, for the Lord your God is bringing you into a good land. Remember that these things were not just like, God wasn't just being mean. This was the vehicle he was using to bring about blessing in your life, to bring about the fulfillment of all of his promises. In verse 10, and you shall eat and be full, and you shall bless the Lord your God. Remember, this isn't just, hey, we made it. No, this is, and bless the Lord your God for the good land he has given you. I just would remind us, if we look back over the course of this year, the past few years, just remember that hardships are not all for nothing. They're not just there because God is mean. It is God's way of working in us for good. He's not abandoned us just because we're going through a hard time. He's not abandoned us just because people have hurt us. He's always been there. So hardship does not equal abandonment, but also prosperity, which is what we're going to look at next, also has a way of tricking us. Look at what Moses says in verses 11 through 20 in chapter 8. He says, take care lest you forget the Lord your God by not keeping his commandments and his rules and his statutes, which I commanded you today. Lest when you have eaten and are full and have built good houses and live in them, and when your herds and your flocks multiply, and your silver and your gold is multiplied, and all that you have is multiplied, then your heart be lifted up and you forget the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of slavery, who led you through the great and terrifying wilderness with its fiery serpents and scorpions and thirsty ground where there was no water, who brought you water out of the flinty rock, who fed you in the wilderness with manna that your fathers did not know, that he might humble you and test you to do you good in the end. Beware, lest you say in your heart, my power and the might of my hand have gotten me this wealth. You shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth, that he may confirm his covenant that he swore to your fathers as it is this day. And if you forget the Lord your God and go after other gods and serve them and worship them, I solemnly warn you today that you shall surely perish. Like the nations that the Lord makes to perish before you, so you shall perish, because you would not obey the voice of the Lord your God. So hardship can trick us into believing that we've been abandoned by God, but also prosperity can trick us into an ego. If you notice what Moses said there, it can trick us into having an ego. So maybe 2025 was full of blessing. A new job, new relationship, new home, more kids, ministry effectiveness. I mean, on and on we could go and rejoice and be glad. But do we really think all of that came from ourselves? Of course not. That's what Moses was trying to prepare them for here. Look again at verse 11. He says, take care lest you forget the Lord your God, or else when you have eaten and are full and have built good houses and live in them, and when your herds and flocks multiply and your silver and gold is multiplied and all that you have is multiplied, then what will happen if we don't take care that we remember God? Then your heart will be lifted up and you will forget the Lord your God. And verse 17, beware lest you say in your heart, my power and the might of my hand have gotten me this wealth. You shall remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you power to get wealth. So every blessing we have, all abundance we have received, all prosperity we experience in our life, what Moses is saying here is it has been dealt out by the hand of God. And if we forget that, we fall into the temptation of the Israelites, believing that it all came from us. My power, my strength, I've done all this. But Moses says here repeatedly, you are to remember the Lord your God. So today that's what we're going to do. The worship team's going to come up and lead us in song, and you guys can do that now. Today is truly a day, if I could go back to the first slide, 2025. Remembrance. It is a day for us to remember the Lord our God, to remember that every good that we have, any fruit that was produced in our church this year, any blessing we have received, all came from him. He alone deserves the glory for it. So I wanted to sing this song first before we go into testimony time, to just give a chance maybe for some reflection. We're going to sing Great is Thy Faithfulness, to just give a chance for reflection. And God deserves glory, and if you feel like, hey, I don't really like talking, I mean, maybe just get out of your comfort zone and share one thing that you can rejoice in that God has done in a moment. So they're going to lead us in this last song, and I'm going to come up and set the stage for our testimony time, and we will go in on that. So would you stand, and we're going to sing together.
Great is thy faithfulness.
Great is thy faithfulness, O God, my Father. There is no shadow of turning with thee. Thou changest not thy
And we have this question up on the screen. So for testimony's sake, I would love to keep it within our church oriented in answering this question. How have you experienced God's grace in or through our church in 2025? You don't have to come up. We have some mics on the side. You have to just, depending on the church, Testimony Sunday either goes wildly irresponsible and people go on for 45 minutes, or it goes wildly awkward and no one says anything. And I just want to say, I have a feeling it's going to be more like the wildly awkward side of things in our church. Joking. But I would just got to say, on Testimony Sunday, sometimes you got to just embrace the silence for a minute and give people a chance to speak. The other thing I want to say is, I said, please no more than 2 to 3 minutes, but certainly know that you do not have to share for up to 2 to 3 minutes. It can literally be, I saw God's grace in our church through this, and that can be it. So please try to keep it concise, 2 to 3 minutes to share. As when we wrap up, when it gets sufficiently awkwardly silent, I will come up and we have one video testimony that we're going to share before we close in song. So does anyone want to be brave to start us off? Oh, we got a couple brave ones. There we go.
Is it on? I'll go first so I could get it over. In March, I had surgery, and it'd been quite a while since I've had any kind of experience to be in a hospital having surgery. Anyway, I was pretty overwhelmed with all the well wishes I received from Grace. And the texts, I even had flowers delivered to me by my life group, and meals, and Pastor Guy checked on me. And that meant a lot to me. I'm new to the area, not that new, but new to this church. And it really blessed me. And then in August, I found a new place to live, and I was moving out of a large home. And my normal response would be, well, I'm going to hire some people to help me get out of one house and into a new one. And Joel, my sweet Karina's husband, said, no way, we'll ask some of the guys from church. And I said, oh, you can't do that. Well, I had so many guys who volunteered, and I was totally overwhelmed with that. And again, Grace blessed me in a way that I did not expect. And they were sweet. They pulled everything out of one house and brought it into the new one in less than an hour. And I was really overwhelmed. And I wrote notes because I didn't want to forget. And now I belong to a life group, and a precious group of people. And I really feel welcomed, respected, and valued. And they're a blessing to me when I'm able to go. And I appreciate the Moody's. And all the people who participated in that group. And I really feel now that I have many, many friends in this church that I could call upon, and I pray that they can call upon me, and they feel that way, that I can reciprocate and with blessings and help others. And I think it's the first time in my life, which has been a long life, that God has been faithful to me. I can say I have a church family.
(2025) is the first year, my first full year at this church. I began attending just at the end of last year, so this is my first year. My attendance here is just the outward working of what God has done for me in my life. When we read in Deuteronomy and how Israel wandered away from God after seeing such great things, you say, how could they do that? I know exactly how they could do that, because that's what I did. And God used that time, just like we read. He humbled them and he showed them their hearts, which is exactly what he's done for me. And right now I'm just so grateful for Jesus, how he told that parable about the prodigal son, how he wandered away, and how that God doesn't hold it against me. He showed me my heart. This is what you're made of, Scott. And when I start wandering back down the road and he looks out there, he says, he's coming back. He says, go make the meatloaf, that's his favorite meal, and a blueberry pie. God's happy that I'm back. And I know how God, if you can say it this way, how he feels about me. Like he's just glad to have me back after my wandering, after him humbling me through all those years. And like I say, now this 2025, this is just the outward working of what God has done in my life up until this time. Thanks.
I'm old, in case you hadn't noticed, and you live long enough, you collect a few things. You collect seeing things, and I think one of the great blessings in life is getting to see, and in fact, God has done that in Scripture. He said, you get to see, like Simeon got to see the Messiah before he passed, and I'm not planning on dying anytime soon, by the way. So I think the gracious thing that I've gotten to see is God's hand at work, the wind of the Spirit blowing through people's lives, and in my own grandchildren, in people in this church, in lives that have gone away and come back again. Yeah, I think that. Getting to see that is such a blessing, and it's been something that I've really thanked God for. That there have been things that have been not so good in our lives, but God gets us a chance to see things that encourage us and remind us that He's here, that He's still on the throne, that He's active, and like Guy was saying, He does it all for our good.
Okay, I am greatly blessed by all of the new families who've come to the church, those who are my age, and I have new friends, and those who have brought children that I can enjoy. I really enjoy all the new children in the church.
I am very blessed this year for God giving me extra time. I've been retired now almost 2 years. I don't know where that went, but I am so blessed and thankful for the opportunity to be able to spend more time with Him, to build my relationship with Him, to be able to be in some Bible studies and fellowship with women and just have the time to be in his word. And I'm also very blessed to be able to serve him in many different ways, whether it be here in my church family or outside in the community. It's been wonderful to be able to take people meals or pray for people or even clean the toilets here at church. So anyways, I'm just very grateful to him, and I give him all the glory.
I'm just going to preface with I don't like talking in front of people, but I feel really compelled to share. Some people here know that we've been through a pretty rough year. Some pretty lows. And I just said to Casey the other day, I've never felt so loved and supported by people here, or church family in general. There were some pretty dark days, and some people in this church, God really brought alongside us to hold us up and lift us up and love on us and support us and show up in little ways that we didn't expect, and really help pull us out of those days, those dark days, and continue to love us and bring us back to, kind of what he said, hardships make you feel like God abandoned you. And I can't tell you the amount of days this year that I felt that, but I could equally say the amount of days I felt his grace and mercy and love from many people in this church is pretty equivalent to those days we felt the hardship. So I just want to say I'm super thankful for all of you and your love. You guys have no idea. Even just saying hey on a Sunday is sometimes what's made a difference. So thank you.
I just want to say thank you to this wonderful church family, and I'm going to cry. Widowhood is a lonely place, and I have longed for a church family and the love of a church family, and I've received it this year. So thank you. And I hope I can return that love to all of you as well. So.
Of your praises, of things where God has grown you, things that you're learning. God has blessed me through the sorrows that I have heard, being able to pray for you either in the moment or later. That is just something I know for me has been a blessing in this church for many years, and I just really enjoy being able to weep with those who weep and mourn with those who mourn and praise with those who rejoice. So thank you.
Hey. So this April, I actually had a pretty devastating injury. I tore my Achilles, and I really wasn't sure how I was going to get through that on my own. I'm a single guy. I live on my own in an apartment. At the time, it was probably about the size of that entire stage, or at least the first level of it. But Craig Moody was there for me, every Sunday that I asked, he'd give me a ride to church. Guy was, constantly, in my texts, just checking in on me. And, when I got really low and isolated, we would go out to lunch together just to give me something to do. And eventually I had to move to a different apartment in my complex, and Guy was there, Craig was there, Howard, Ed, Steve. So this church has given me so much support at a very difficult time when I couldn't even, do basic things for myself. So thank you to all of you for that.
There's a lot to say, but just want to say that we both sincerely appreciate the attitude and care for us and our children. You know, at my previous church, you know, not to shame anybody or anything, but you know, there wasn't always that excitement when it came to children, and that joy, and that it's okay, they're welcome here. And you know, I really appreciate that, not only from, you know, our leadership, but from each of you. And this has been a difficult season to navigate, right? And a lot of changes, and so appreciative of the meals and the prayers and the checking on us and the just walking with us and the grace with us through the season. So thank you all, and we love you all very much.
Hello, I'm Bob Drew, my wife Alice. We got married on that stage almost 20 years ago, hard to believe. But I'm just encouraged to see all these new faces, young and old, coming to Grace Baptist here and just experiencing the love that is this church. And one little anecdote of praise. We go to a bilingual church, and we're in this English ministry, obviously. And the English ministry is a little bit smaller, and once a month we have men's ministry on a Saturday, just coffee, eggs, sometimes people make French toast, usually donuts and coffee. And we have a neighbor next door to us, James. He's an older guy. His kids are a little bit older. He's a single dad. He had a cute little dog. He used to walk around. I'd see him all the time. The dog passed, and we don't see much of him anymore. But on a whim, I just invited him to the men's group Saturday in December. And lo and behold, he came. He has a hard time getting around, so he had to drive down there, even though it's a block and a half away. But he came up and introduced himself as I'm Bob's neighbor, and I just kind of said to the group, "Oh yeah, James shares a wall, next apartment over," and it was just what a blessing. And our pastor Sam, he gave an awesome message on Ephesians 3:16, the inner being, the inner man, and I just could tell looking at James' face that it really hit home. And he said, "Bob, I have to leave. I got to go see my kid, but I'll be back. I want to come to more of these." So I sent him a link to our church's YouTube channel, and hopefully that spurs on more stuff. But just encouragement for all of us to get out of our comfort zone a little bit, and especially in very secular Boston, to say, "Hey, I'm going to invite my neighbor to church," is not something that you would think of doing. But hopefully I can, we already saw fruits from that. So thank you.
I'm not known for my brevity, but I will get to the point. It's such a blessing to see, young people bringing their children to church. And it's a particular blessing to me to see Norm Wheeler and coming to church, having survived surgery, about in the hospital, and getting back up and coming to church. And often when we look around churches, we realize how many have fallen away. And it is a blessing to see people here that I know that knew me when they were little kids, or I know their family. And to see that the essentials of the faith have been transmitted to other subsequent generations. And because of, I'm sure, Norm and Janice's faithfulness, that we now have a pastor. And so when I look at the people in the church and I see these things, I'm greatly encouraged and feel very welcome.
So much to say that it's kind of hard to fit into just a couple of minutes, and especially hearing from my son-in-law just now. And and be reminded of Norm, who was, I was a teacher and for 30-some years. And he was a mentor to me. And what a guidance that was. It painted houses together and things like that, just really for the summertime. But early on in my teaching, it might have been within the first couple of months or so, we were approached as teachers. We have an opportunity to sign up for this new program. It's a 401k program. And I already knew that I was told that if I can last for 30 years, I can get this teacher's retirement. And I said, I don't want to deprive my kids of putting money away that I might not never need. And I think there's plenty for me what the district offered. And so, believe it or not, we didn't have a 401k. And but God met our needs. And we were kind of reminded of that this past year. Even as old retirees, I'm a lot older than Steve is too, and pushing 80 next month or so. And but anyway, he's always met our needs and been such a blessing. This past year, I have enjoyed more than anything gathering together at Grinds and getting together and studying deep study, deeper than I had gone before, and understanding. But to be encouraged by around 12 every week at Grinds at 6 o'clock in the morning before people went to work, and I was retired. It was easy for me, but with Guy's guidance, just to put things in perspective, I can remember a Guy being in one of my study halls and I think he was in 7th grade. But it's been a real blessing, and I really appreciate the time and everything that the church has done for us. Annette and I, in this past couple of years, have been difficult, but he comes through all the time.
So hello everyone. I'm not big on public speaking, but this is my first time back to church in 5 years. I knew that Steve went here, so I've been here for about 2 months now. But I met pretty amazing people, so just thank you.
So we're going to see how long I can do this without breaking down. Grace has been such a blessing, not only me, but my granddaughters. Starting already. My dream for her was to grow up in a church that loved her as much as God and as much as we do. And you all have just met the mark 1,000%. She calls you her family, which is so important, and she feels the love of God here, and she tells everyone about it. And not only have you just loved her like your own, but you have loved me, and that is so important. I always knew that having a community of like-minded people was so important to stay just on the right path and just to feel the love of God. And you have all welcomed me and my family, no matter where they're at. When my mom was very sick And she doesn't come here only for special occasions, but you prayed for her, and I knew you were praying because as soon as I sent out the message that we needed prayers, she miraculously got better. Within 24 hours, it was like all of a sudden she turned around. And instead of us worrying about, are we planning her funeral this time, it was the grace of God and your prayers that she just was okay. We're going to get discharged now. And we're like, okay, wow. And, just prayer for my kids, and you meet them where they're at. And I appreciate that. And it's been such a blessing, and I love you all.
I had a couple things prepared, but then I took notes. So in the last year, I've been here, I think 2 or 3 years now. I actually lost track. But last year at Thanksgiving, I was voluntold. I was going to Holly Life Group with Anthony and Ray and Rain and I. We're gonna go to the Sawyer's house and we were gonna have Thanksgiving. And I'd been coming here for a while. I knew Karina. I'd been going to her house, getting bread, taking pictures in her driveway. You guys have probably seen them. But I never thought to get more involved. I actually, unbeknownst to most, I have horrible social anxiety, and I am the most antisocial social worker, in the words of my late husband. So I didn't really, I thought coming here on Sunday, that was enough. Talking to people, getting to know everyone, but I didn't need to really get more involved. But that was the catalyst for me getting more involved in the church by going to Life Group and continuing to go to Life Group, and then getting involved with VBS and meeting Dana, and we had wonderful conversations in the kitchen. We both connected. We were both widows, and we had a really amazing time. When Rain broke her arm over the summer, the first people that I had reached out to were not my own family, but my church family, asking for prayers, and you all came through. And so recently with the church play, Rain wanted to be a part of it because she wants to be a part of everything. And I was like, absolutely. It was my niche. It's one of the things that I did in high school. I was in plays and stuff, so I loved that she was able to be up there. But what I loved even more was that we took up 2.5 rows in this church with people that we invited to get to know about Jesus. And one of her friends was so excited. He said at the end, he's 8 years old, he was crying, and he was like, she was just so beautiful, and I want to come here. Everybody's like a giant family. So I told him whenever he wants to come, he can. But one of the other pieces of that blessing was that my aunt, who lives in South Carolina, whose church I used to attend with my grandmother and grandfather, said, she watched the live feed, and she said, I know you have a church home, and it's just like Blackstock. And I wish that our church was the way that Grace is, because it's not like that anymore. One last thing, because I would be doing a disservice to God if I didn't thank him for this. So I graduated in 2009 with my bachelor's degree. I said at that time that I would never return to school for my master's or any further education unless somebody else was going to pay for it. So for 16 years, I prayed and prayed and prayed, and I stumbled this past late July on a program through FLIPS, which is an acronym that I don't remember, but they have a grant. And so within 2 weeks, I submitted all the paperwork, and I was accepted into Fredonia's licensed clinical mental health counseling program. I have finished my first semester. I'm halfway through J-term, and I'm on the dean's list, and that is God, not me, because I prayed about that, and I don't have to pay for it, and I know that that is God working through me to then provide that. But when I first found out that I was accepted, I told Debbie Moody, who I've adopted as a grandmother to me, whether she likes it or not, and the first thing she told me was, don't forget your faith, and she told me about a book called Counsel from the Cross, which really helped me to shape my vision of what kind of therapist I want to be. So, thank you, everyone.
I'll just say we've only been here for about 7 months now. We moved here 6 months. My wife's great at correcting me because she's very, very detail oriented. Moved here from Oklahoma, and one of the challenges being in the military, and in 18 years we've moved 8 times, is finding a place to plug in and finding community and network with people that love you, care about you, and that you can do life with. Because when you move that much, it's hard to do, and we've found that here, and it's been amazing. We did some church shopping, if you will. Don't like that term, but looking around to try to find the place where God was calling us to plug in and to commit to for the time that we're here. And we clearly felt called to come here when we got here, and just felt immediately connected to the people here, from the men's Bible study, as Tony brought up, to just great lunches and fellowships, coffee with men, Howard inviting me to breakfast, and spending time pouring into me, and just seeing people that really care about making sure that you're taken care of. And that is something that we've been blessed with here, and it's definitely made this move much easier than it could have been without that. So just want to thank the family here.
All right, if you want to go after me, get ready, because then we're going to move on to the next thing. I want to just thank God for, I want to thank God for Joni and Sarah. I don't know if Sarah's in here right now. I think she's downstairs. Where is she? Oh, hey, Sarah. When we lost Debbie Moody as our administrator, and we lost our cleaner, it was kind of, we were actually starting to have conversations. Do we need to look elsewhere? Do we need to do an outside hire? We weren't really sure and what was going to happen. And so the day we had a finance meeting, I think Linda talked with Joni, and Joni's like, "Yeah, I'm happy to do the cleaning." Like, great, that's awesome. But it was really an answer to prayer. And Joni has been such a blessing to be around. We have midday conversations often where we just chat, and then we say, "Oh my goodness, an hour has just passed. We should probably move on to other things." And then also Sarah. I don't know how many people know the story about it, but when Debbie and Craig were moving, I think I sent you an email, Sarah. We're praying about who could potentially do the admin position with the season of life they're in, and it would work for them. And I just thought of Sarah, and so I shot her an email, and I think like 10 days had passed, and she didn't respond. So I said, well, I guess the writing's on the wall. I think I know her answer. So I was like, I guess I should probably send a text just to clarify. And the really funny thing is that the day I text Sarah, and I said, "Hey, did you ever get my email?" And she said, "No." So she looked at it, and she said, "It's really funny that you text me today, because I was literally just praying in the car about how I can be more involved in our church." And so it was a really cool God sighting that I should have added to my jar this year. But they've been a huge blessing to our church. I know people don't always get to see what you guys do on a day-to-day, but you're a blessing. Thank you for cleaning toilets. Thank you for making the kids' schedules to keep our kids' classes going. You guys are a huge blessing, and you guys don't get enough credit for all that you do to make us keep running and keep going. Lastly, I just want to give thanks to God for things like over-bloated Bible studies. I know Rachel's Bible study group, there's been nights where you have to break off into like 3 small groups because there's so many ladies. I know we had our men's study when we first started. I was like, man, hopefully Grinds keeps welcoming us in here, because we're filling their back room. Overflowing Grace Life groups, where we just have so many people who are ready to love on each other and do life with each other, that we just need to continue to pray about what that looks like going forward. I think in 2025 we had 6 new members. We had 1 birth. I think it was just Rosalie this year, right? 2025 baby. But we have 3 more coming in 2026. I think we had 4 baptisms. We started a new kids class, the Grace Littles, the 2 to 4s class. So there's so many of those structural things that I want to thank God for. But really behind all of that is thanking God for the heart that he's placed in our church. I'm thankful our Bible studies are overflowing, but more than that, I'm thankful that we have people in our church that value the Word of God and want to study it together. I'm thankful that we have people that want to do life together, that want to learn how to love each other the way Christ called us to. I'm thankful for baptisms, for kids professing faith, for adults professing faith. It's amazing. I think we're running so long that the kids class is coming up to join us. So that I'm going to just end it there. But if anyone else has anything else they want to share, if not, we have 1 video testimony, and then we're going to close in song. Ed, you're going to be our last one, and then we got 1 video.
I'll be pithy. Wow, that was supposed to incite humor for those that know me. After a whole year of being without Gloria, I have to say I've seen God in many ways comfort me and encourage me. I know we all suffer losses in life, and I'm not unique in that. And but one thing I find is that you need the pervasive encouragement of the people from church, and I found that here, and even in some other churches, I hit some other things on occasion. And I just wanted to say that God's faithful, and He never leaves us alone. He never leaves us lacking. He never leaves us unwhole. He's always able to make us whole in Himself, even when we suffer loss of other people in our lives. And it's sweet that most of the encouragement He provides, He does through people. And that's why we have to gather at church. So.
Okay, we are on. Well, hello, Grace Baptist Church. We're coming to you from sunny Florida. David's with us this morning, and we want to give you a little testimony of the blessing you guys have been to us in this last year. David, would you like to say hello to everybody up in Brockport?
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year.
How about the Buffalo Bills?
Buffalo Bills still, yeah.
Go Bills, right?
Go Bills,
okay.
yeah, Bills.
All right.
Do you want to go ride your bike?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, we're coming to you from our home in sunny Florida, and Pastor Guy asked us today to give a short testimony of blessings that we've experienced while being at the church. You know that we have been here for 10 years now, been members for 10 years, and it has been a blessing to serve you. And so this morning I'm going to have Debbie go first. Debbie, what's been some of the blessings that you've experienced?
Had to be hard to narrow it down just to a few. But one of the first ones was we've had a lot of changes in our life, and one was welcoming our 17th grandchild. And while we were in Virginia, we were able to watch a live stream of a worship service. And it was unique and very, very monumental, and I cherish it to my heart. We were able to watch from an above view the greet time. It was when the children are being dismissed and intentionally the tech blur it. And I still could make out bodies and people reaching out to one another. There was hugging, there was laughter, there was just a uniting of one another. To those who may have been just seated, they were welcomed. That was just a special, right in my face. The sunshine, sorry. To me, it was just so sweet. And I want to also add that there was a special desire from many to grow spiritually, and that was special to our hearts. But with all the positives, I have to give in one negative, and that is our Pastor Guy called us, was shortly before your November business meeting, and he asked, would we like to have our names withdrawn from the membership list? Well, it only took a second for both of us to say, you ain't getting rid of us that quickly. I want you all to know how special it is to be a part of the family of God. We cherish our Grace family and find membership to be a vital part of our spiritual health. Even in the rest of our conversation with Guy, we have a covenant with each other. It's a witness to the world on our love and obey part. It's the blessing on this side of glory. We have found a good church and on our way to join next month. I want to share John 13:34 and 35. A new command I give you, love one another. By this everyone will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. We're reading a good book by Jonathan Lehman, Church Membership. Quote, so we lay down our lives for one another and then fight together for the freedom of obedience. When we do, we display Christ's love for the world and cause the nations to give praise. I love you all and miss you.
Thank you, Deb. Well, I have a couple that I want to share with you. One I have said before to some of the people there, but I want to share it again. It has to do with our small groups, and as we were meeting together, one of the men, single men in our small group, would continually talk about a neighbor of his that he had a hard time with. And he'd bring it up almost every time that we got together and started asking for a prayer request. And I began to think that maybe he was just complaining, but eventually my heart was turned to realize that this was a real burden for that young man. And so we began to pray for him, and we prayed for his neighbor. And in time, that neighbor ended up being evicted and moved out. By God's design, we were praying for his salvation and that things would turn for the better. But in God's sovereignty, that he just moved him right out of the picture. And that man, who's probably there today, Steve Leonard, he was blessed so much by that. And the fact that we could join in together and pray with him for that burden in his life and see it removed from his life was just a joy. So if any of you are not involved in a small group, I just encourage you to, in this coming year, to look into one and visit one and hopefully join in with a group that's meeting. The second thing I'd like to mention is a little bit more important, and it's the fact that the preaching at this church has been such a blessing to me, the faithful preaching in this church with Pastor Guy, Steve, and with Jeremy leading and eldering. What a blessing to see that this church is under good gospel preaching and that the church itself is growing in grace and knowledge of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, as Peter exhorts us to do. I want to close with a verse here from Corinthians. It comes out of chapter 1, and it's in verse 4. It says this, I give thanks to my God always for you, because of the grace of God that was given to you in Christ Jesus, that in every way you were enriched in him, in all speech and all knowledge, even as the testimony about Christ was confirmed among you. We have enjoyed fellowshipping among you all these years, and we continue to pray for you guys regularly. But for now, from sunny Florida, we want to say goodbye. We love you, and may Jesus Christ be praised. Go Bills!
All right, you can stand and we're going to sing Remembrance. Let's sing. I take the bread of life, broken for all my sin, your body crucified to make me whole again. I will recall the cup poured out as sacrifice to trade the sinner's end for your new covenant. Hallelujah, I live my life in remembrance. Hallelujah, your promise I won't forget. I walk salvation's road with fear and trembling, your way born as my own, as Christ is formed in me.
us today. It was a blessing to hear all of your testimonies and how your life has been changed through this church. And just pray that it keeps changing in 2026. And have a good rest of your Sunday.